Hi, I'm Sarmed and I teach science and math. When it clicks for them, I see why you did what you did. I see why we were doing what we did. I see why they taught us this back in grade 10. Now it all makes sense. And especially when, like, after that, they change their way of thinking more of, I'm stuck at the question to seeing what is the question actually asking? Can I break it down to, its parts and what is the end goal actually? And then you go from both ends and you make a method. And that shift, it's not just a eureka moment, it's a shift in thinking that happens as a result of many eureka moments. And at the end of it, you got a physicist or a scientist coming out of the tutoring sessions. Some of the bad teachers I've had, on the other hand, for example, what they do is they would give us a question with no motivation for why we're doing this. And then they would write down the answer on the board. We're expected to copy it, analyze it on our own, memorize the answers if we need to replicate it on a homework assignment on a test. But the great ones don't do that. They teach us how to think, how to break down problems, how to analyze, how to shift our perspective from students who've never really had to tackle these problems to students who can eventually tackle these problems and more. So it becomes less of I have to memorize these equations and I'll forget them after the test to a foundational shift in how you think. And each class I took with these great teachers that I had, at the end of it, had this sort of change, maybe small change or sometimes big change, but it's always a change in the way you think and you approach problems. Physics and math are intertwined. Math is the language of physics, and I didn't actually start out liking physics at all or math. First started liking physics just because of sci-fi movies, and I really wanted to get deeper into it. And one of my teachers in high school told me that your passion is nice, but you got to back it up with the foundation. And this is where I started going very slow journey into math, and that culminated in second year me fully going into doing a second degree along with my physics degree in math. So math is to me the language of physics. If math is English, physics is poetry. And so they go hand in hand with each other. And whenever I teach math, I try to use sort of examples from physics to try to understand or have a visual image of what the math is actually doing. And when I'm teaching physics, on the other hand, try to bring back the math they already learned in the year prior or in their other classes in the same year to strengthen the understanding of what's going on in physics class.